Hey guys, it's Tash Rose from RoseGardenCreations. So this is kind of the first video that I've ever done like this before, and it is this cute little Pikachu charm bag, I suppose. So what we will need will be 3 different colored yarns, a yellow, a red, and a black, and I used a 5mm and a 4mm hook. So the majority of the bag itself, is done with the 5mm hook, and the eyes, the cheeks, and the ears are all done with the 4mm hook. I'm using an 8-ply or a double knit yarn, as that's what's easiest for me to get my hands on. I will be using American terminology, as I find it easier for me to understand. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a tutorial, as I'm not really teaching how to do this. I am showing you what I did. I do apologize for the video quality, as I would have recorded most of this video on my phone. Please enjoy. If you like it, thumbs up. Please excuse my cat. Apparently she wants to be involved in this too. As I was saying, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe. And I'll chat with you later. Bye. Hey guys, voiceover time now. So for this pattern, every round will start with a chain 2, unless specified otherwise, and every round will end with a slip stitch in the first half double crochet to close. So for round 1, we will do 12 half double crochet in the magic ring or the cinch circle. Now if you're uncomfortable using the magic ring, you can chain 4, connect your first chain and your last chain together with a slip stitch, and do your 12 half double crochet in the middle of that circle. Round 2, we start with a chain 2, and then we increase in the first stitch, and we increase in every stitch around. This will give us a stitch count of 24 stitches, doubling from our 12 in our first round. Round 3, we will chain 2, and we will increase in the first stitch that we chained out of, the same stitch we chained out of, and we will half double crochet in the next stitch, increase in the next, half double crochet in the next. You'll repeat this pattern all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Slip stitch in the top of your first half double crochet to close. At the end of this round, we will have 36 stitches. Okay, on to round 4. We chain 2 to start. We increase in the same stitch that we chained out of. And we half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Increase in the next. Half double crochet in the next 2. And you will repeat this pattern all the way around until you get back to the beginning. And you will slip stitch in the top of your first half double crochet to close up the round. Goes on to round 5. Now this is the only round in the creation of the bag that is different to everyone else. In this round we only chain 1 to start. We single crochet in the same stitch that we chained out of, and then we single crochet in every stitch around, but in the back loops only. You will single crochet, back loop only, every stitch around until you get back to the beginning, where you will slip stitch into your first single crochet to close out the round. Now, round 6, you chain 2 and you half double crochet into that same stitch, and then half double crochet all the way around. Now, when you get back to the beginning of row 6, you will slip stitch into the first half double crochet to end the round. Rows 8 through 17 are exactly the same. You just chain 2, half double crochet in the same stitch, then half double crochet in every stitch around until you get back to the beginning, where you slip stitch into the first half double crochet and close off the round. I will get back to you when we start row 18. Alright, we are on to row 18. Yep, just setting up for this round. So I did change my camera's angle for this round. However, yeah, I didn't particularly like it that much. Easier for me to crochet with the camera above me rather than directly in front of me, but the angle doesn't really show much. So anyway, on to round 18. We chain 2 to start. And this will be the only round where your chain 2 counts as a half double crochet. So we chain 2, we half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, skip 2, chain 2, and half double crochet in the next 3. So chain 2 to start, 2 half double crochets, half double crochet in the next 2. You will chain 2 and you will skip 2 stitches. In the 3rd stitch, you will half double crochet and you will half double crochet in the next 2 after that one. You will chain 2, skip 2, half double crochet in the next 3. You will repeat this pattern all the way around, creating our eyelet row. When you get to the end, you will slip stitch into the top of your chain 2, and you will count 10 chain spaces, and there should be 10 groups of 3 half double crochet. Now, you should have 48 stitches from round 5 through to round 17. It should be 48 stitches. If not, it doesn't really matter. I personally had 50 stitches. I got an additional 2 somewhere, but that's fine. As long as you work out your eyelet rows to having 10 chain 2 spaces, or even if you only have 9 chain 2 spaces, that's fine. Alright, so round 19, which will start shortly, is a chain 2, a half double crochet in the same stitch, and you will half double crochet in the tops of the 2 half double crochets from round 18. You will do 2 half double crochet in the chain 2 spaces and half double crochet in the top of every half double crochet from round 18. So, half double crochet in the tops of your half double crochets from the row before, 2 half double crochets in each of your chain spaces. When you get back to the beginning, slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet to end the round. You will snip your yarn and fasten off at the end of this round. Unless you want to add another row, then you just chain 2 and half double crochet in every stitch around, slip stitching to the top of your first half double crochet to end the round. Alrighty guys, so I am going to apologize in advance because most of this was not in frame, but this is the pattern for the eyes, which you will need 2 of, and you will do 6 single crochet in the magic ring. Or you can chain 3, connect your first chain to your last chain with a slip stitch, and do your 6 in the center, your 6 single crochet in the center of that ring. You will be using your black yarn for the eyes. So round 1, as I said, 6 single crochet. Now, round 2, which is coming up shortly, is a chain 1, increase in that first in the stitch that you just chained out of, and then you will increase in every stitch around, giving us 12 stitches at the end of this round. You will slip stitch into your first single crochet to close off, and you will snip your yarn, leaving a long tail for sewing. Okay, now we're on to the cheeks. Now this one was better as it was more in frame. So we start with the magic ring. We chain 2 at the beginning of the magic ring, which I'm pretty sure I have not actually said before. And you will do 12 half double crochet into that magic ring, same as we started at the bottom of the bag. When you get to the end of your 12, you will slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet. You will slip stitch to you will slip stitch to close the round. You will snip your yarn and leave a long tail for sewing. And just like the eyes, you need to make sure you have 2. Okay guys, so the pattern for the ears was a bit of a pain to show as well as a pain to do. It took me several days to decide how I was going to do these ears, and as you can see, I'm sometimes in frame, sometimes not in frame, and even then with the black yarn it's very hard to see what I'm doing. So for the ears, there are 14 rounds in total. So for round 1, we will do 3 single crochet in the magic ring to start, and we will slip stitch to close. This pattern does start out very tight. Part of me wishes I'd done it the other way, start from the base, go to the tip, but hey. Didn't think about that until after I'd done it. Okay guys, not sure where I left off, just had to answer a call. So, as I was saying, round 1, we do 3 single crochet in the magic ring and we slip stitch to close. Then we move on to round 2. So for the ears, every row will start with a chain 1 because we're only working with single crochet. Now round 2, we chain 1 and we single crochet in the same stitch. We increase in the next stitch and we single crochet in the last stitch. This will increase our stitch count to 4. You will slip stitch in the first single crochet to close. Now round 3. So I'm just going to give you the pattern for it because this video is very choppy, and because I use black yarn, it is extremely hard to see what I'm doing. It was hard for me to see what I was doing. So now round 3. Chain 1, we single crochet in the same stitch, we increase in the next, single crochet in the next, increase in the last. This will take our stitch count from 4 to 6. Slip stitch in the first single crochet to close. Now round 4, we will chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, single crochet in the so we single crochet in the same stitch that we chained out of, single crochet in the next stitch, increase in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 2, increase in the last. That will take our stitch count from 6 to 8. Now for round 5, we chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we increase in the 4th stitch. We single crochet in the next 3 stitches, increase in the last stitch, which will take our count from 8 to 10. That's the most difficult part. All the rows from here on out are just a stitch count of 10, so we're just going round and round and round. So row 6 and 7, it's still using the black yarn. We chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, single crochet in every stitch around, slip stitch into the top of the single crochet, the first single crochet, to close up the round. Now just making a slight adjustment with my camera. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the rest of the black part of the crocheting the black part of the ears. So for round 8, we're going to change the color back to our body color, the yellow. And same as every other round, so same as rounds 6 and 7, we chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch, then single crochet in every stitch around, slip stitch into the top of our first single crochet to close up the round. Round 9 through 14 is exactly the same. We chain 1, single crochet into that same stitch, single crochet in every stitch around, slip stitch to the first single crochet to close the round. At the end of round 14, you will snip your yarn, leaving a long-ish tail for sewing on later. Okay, let's try this again. I was just explaining everything and realized I hadn't turned my mic on. Silly me. Okay, now, in this one, I will just re-explain. I've laid the bag flat, lining up the chain 2 spaces so they're even across the top. And for the cheeks, I counted up 4 rows from the bottom. So from row 5, sorry, not 4 rows, 3 rows. I've counted from row 5, I counted up 6, row 7, row 8, and the bottom of my cheeks sit on row 9. Now, for the eyes, I placed them so they were about 2 rows above the cheeks, but they sat in between they sat in between 2 of the chain 2 spaces, as you can see, and they're about 2 rows down from our eyelet row. Now, there are many ways you can stitch this. You can just take a yarn needle and just take your yarn and go right through from front to back, and just do a whip stitch all the way around. But I will show you how I do how I sew mine on, or I will show you how I sew on one of the eyes. Once I get my camera adjusted. I remember that now. Just trying to get the best angle so I could sew without hitting the camera. Well, hitting my phone, I should say. So I did use pins. I did use my straight pins to mark roughly where I wanted everything, and just to hold it in place so I could see visually if I liked where everything was. Now, I'm just trying to sew in my little tail from the cinch circle. Trying to thread that yarn can be a bit of a pain. But look, got there. This black yarn really was a pain to work with. I generally don't like using such dark yarn, but it's required sometimes. Okay, so just threading up that tail end. I apologize, as you've seen through the rest of this video, I do spend a lot of time not in frame. Now, when I stitch things down, I pick up a few stitches from underneath. Now, I'm just trying to adjust the camera for you guys to get a better view. So, I try and pick up a few stitches from the bag, and then I loop it up through the... I bring it up through the stitch on the eye itself. Yeah, I don't think I got a really good shot of this. Oh no, I did. So as you can see, I'm just picking up a few pieces of a stitch and then going up through the side of a stitch on the eye. And I just do this all the way around, securing the eye in place. And I do the same thing for the other eye and both the cheeks. And then I just weave whatever little bit of tail is left. I just weave it in between, under the eye, but on top of the bag, so it's sort of in between the two layers. This way we don't see any of the stitches on the back, on the inside of the bag. Okay guys, so as you can see, I'm just finishing up sewing on one of my cheeks. I did sew the other eye and the other cheek on off camera. Alright. So, yeah, I'm just snipping off that tail. Now, it took me quite a bit of time to figure out how I was going to sew these ears on, as we did do them in the round. As you'll see, I hope, in the end I just chose at the front 5 stitches that went over our chain 2 space, and I put it in the back to start. Yeah, so you can see as you can see, I'm trying to figure out the best position for it, because I had no idea. Now, I would have preferred it on the side where it's sort of coming off the top of the head at an angle. But yeah, I wasn't sure how to go about that with the way I'd done the ears. If I'd done the ears flat, just a back and forth row, then I could have done that, I'm sure. Now, what I ended up deciding to do was I whip stitched the ear down one way, so with the ear to the back, like on the inside of the bag, which you will see in a minute. So I just flattened the ears and I went through the 2 stitches on the ear and then a stitch on the bag. Okay, so yeah. And I'm out of camera. I'm out of frame again. Sounds about right. Now I'm just whip stitching through 3 stitches, 2 on the ear, 1 on the bag, and I've got the ear to the back, but when I come back I actually flip the ear to the front of the bag and whip stitch back down the bag. That just ensures that 1, our ears will actually stand upright, and 2, it's going to make sure that our ears are far more secure on our bag. I really didn't get a good image of this for you guys, did I? Sorry about that. Now, just one last little thing. We have to do Pikachu's mouth. And I simply found a stitch in between the cheeks, close to the center of the bag. Came through, I went across. Oops, yeah, I actually did that a few times. Which was fine because I didn't actually like the angle that was at anyway. Now, I went down on an angle a couple of rows, and then I came back up on an angle for a couple of rows. And as you can see, I just went back through that stitch on the bottom and came back out in the stitch where I started. And I just repeated that on the other side. You can do the mouth however you want. That was how I decided to do the mouth. it turned out all right.